everyone, welcome back to Learn English with Erica. Today we'll be beginning a new series. It's called Welcome to the Neighborhood. We'll do 2 or 3 sessions of this series, and I'm going to tell you what it's going to cover right now. The first session is going to talk about opening greetings. These are things that you might say to a new neighbor when you first meet them. The second part of the section is making small talk. So after you introduce yourself, what do you say? And the third part of this first session is offering help or information. A great way to make a connection with your neighbor is to offer help or some information that might make their life easier. The second day in the series, we're going to talk about how to discuss the neighborhood, to tell your new neighbor about things that you know in the neighborhood. It's also going to teach you how to invite them over. Maybe you have children and you want to invite them over so that your children can play, or you might just want to be friendly and invite them for coffee or a snack. The third part of the second section is going to teach you how to say goodbye politely, how to exit the conversation. Okay, so those are 6 things that I'm going to teach you in the first 2 sections. I'm thinking about doing a third about maybe some mistakes to avoid when you're meeting a neighbor for the first time. So I will let you know if I'm going to do that one. So let's get started with the first part. So this is part 1. First, again, we'll talk about the greetings, making small talk, and then offering help or information. All right. So opening greetings. When you first meet someone for the first time, it's easy to just say, "Hi, enter your name." Okay, and then if they're your neighbor, you can say, "I live next door. I live next door." Okay, I live next door. So that means that you live in the house or the apartment right next to the other person. You could also say something like, "I live across the street. I live across the street." Okay, if you are new to the neighborhood, if you're the one that's new, you might say, "Hello, I'm Erica. I just moved in. I just moved in." Okay, if someone's introducing themselves to you, you would say, "Oh, hi, I'm so-and-so. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you." Let's say that you are in the hallway of an apartment complex or walking your dog around the neighborhood and you see someone new. You can say, "Hey, I'm Erica. I don't think we've met yet. I don't think we've met yet." Okay, and that will prompt them to maybe introduce themselves and start the conversation. And let's say you know that they're new. You just saw maybe a big moving van and they're moving their things in. Okay, you might say, "Oh, hi, I noticed you just moved in. Welcome to the neighborhood. Welcome to the neighborhood." So those are some phrases that you might use when you are just getting to know your new neighbor. Okay, the second part. Once you've introduced yourself, you're going to want to maybe have a small conversation. We call that in English small talk. I do have a whole other video on small talk if you'd like to go watch that one, but I'm going to give you a few things that you might be able to say. Let's say you've met them or you've seen them. You might have said hello, and now you want to start a small conversation, or maybe it's the second time you're seeing them. You could ask them, "How are you settling in? How are you settling in?" And that just means, like, is everything going okay? It's almost asking them, do you have any questions? Do you need any information, right? How are you settling in? You might also, if you think they're new, you haven't seen them, but you're not sure if they're new, you could say, "How long have you been living here? How long have you been living here?" This is also useful if you move into a new apartment complex and you want to know, or neighborhood, and you want to know how long they have been living there. How long have you been living here for? You might also ask, "What brought you to the neighborhood? what brought you to the neighborhood? So this question is asking, why did you move here? Why did you move here? But it's a little bit more polite and native sounding, native English sounding, right? So they might say, oh, I got a new job, or I like the school district, okay? Then you might say something like, oh, I hope you're enjoying living around here. I hope you're enjoying living around here. That's just saying, you know, I hope you like the neighborhood. You could also say that. And then to close a small talk conversation, you might say, okay, well, it was nice talking with you, or it was nice chatting with you. If you need anything, let me know. If you need anything, let me know. Okay, so there's some small talk tips. The third section is going to talk about offering help or information. So let's say that you want to say a little bit more than, if you need anything, let me know. Maybe you want to be more specific. Okay, maybe your neighborhood has lots of great restaurants and you love to visit them. You might say, if you need any recommendations for local restaurants, let me know. Or if you need any recommendations for places to eat, let me know. If there's some other place that you want to recommend, you could just keep it general too. If you need any recommendations for any place, let me know. Okay, that could be a barber shop to cut your hair. It could be a nail place to do your nails. It could be a grocery store to buy your food. Okay. You can also say something like, well, if you need any help with that, I'd be happy to help. If you need any help with that, I'd be happy to help. That's a nice way to offer assistance to someone. Maybe they're talking to you about getting settled in, like acclimating, learning about the neighborhood. Okay, maybe you could say something like, is there anything I could do to help you get settled in? Is there anything that I could do to help you get settled? Maybe you see a moving truck and you see them moving lots of things. A great way to make friends with a neighbor is to offer your physical help. So if you are physically able, you could say something like, let me know if you need help moving in. Let me know if you need help moving in, or moving furniture, maybe. Let me know if you need help moving furniture. And finally, this is my favorite. If you're ever looking for a good coffee shop, let me know. I know a great place. That kind of tells them that you know the local places to go, and it also kind of opens up the conversation for if they maybe want to go have coffee and have a conversation with you. It could be the start of a new friendship. Well, I hope that was helpful. If you liked this video, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know, what else do you want to learn how to talk about in English? See you next time.